It's
Well, this is
it's kind of
weird.
like false advertisement at this point.
Dude, I don't know what to do.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're watching Janner's Haunted Secrets on the Outline Network. What they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
Oh, we forgot Max. Where's Max? I know we got to find Max somewhere.
I don't know. I think he's hiding from us. But anyway.
Max. Max. My gosh. Max disappear? Nope. Hold on.
This is Maximus Christian Bryant with the Ohio Haunters Association, president, and you are watching Chainer's Haunted Secrets on the Owl Light Network.
I just want to point out every time we play.
That.
It's okay. Every time we play Max, I feel like an angel gets its wings.
Yes, an angel gets its wings. And I did not mean to forget that. My brain just got... multiple things happened today, and my brain is just like...
It's okay. It's okay. So, I want to introduce our wonderful guest for this evening. Well, we have a problem. Unfortunately, we can't get a hold of our guest, and with storms ripping through the Ohio area, there's a possibility that the reason that we don't have him popping up is because he might be experiencing one of these storms. We don't know. We can't get a hold of him. I've tried going out to his grave and banging on the headstone, but he has not risen. So we're just going to fly into this. And one of the things was when we were starting to play this music intro, wonderful music intro that we have. And it is actually by Raz Slasher. He was part of a band, and it got me thinking, have we talked about sound on our haunt show? Because sound is a very important thing. Sound will set your mood. Sound will do everything. When you go from one area to another, you can hear the differences in the sounds, and that's an incredible thing in a haunted house. I mean, if you go into a nurse's station and then you start hearing beeping monitors and this and that, it sets up the whole scene in the haunted house. Now, some haunted houses, they play a general music all through. Ours, we actually pump a whole bunch of sound that is like woods sounds, like crickets, owls, this and that. That's the type of music we'll pump through, and we've got 2 speakers, and we blare it as loud as we can. just because that is what we do in our field. Different haunts have different sounds, and there's actually some places that will absolutely have the biggest speakers pointed straight at people, and they play the whole music through start to finish, just being able to pump up the music. Some of them make their own soundtracks, and this is one thing that we haven't touched on. The simplest things can put you in the mood, like little hammers tapping on stuff, and you think, okay, well, what the heck is little hammers? Well, if you're in a Christmas haunt, that could be the elves that are about ready to rip out your throat. And I say that because that schoolhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio, is one of them that actually has different sounds through different areas, and they have elves. Carnage, when they were able to do their Christmas, they had a replaying sound through the one side. This one side was amazing because you would hear the hammers, you would hear this and that, drills. It sets you up for a lot of things. So we're going to talk about different sounds tonight. And when you're going through a haunted house, what is some of the things that kind of get you pumped up? And I'll tell you what, I wore my best shirt tonight. It is the holiest shirt I could find. And I just didn't know what I was getting into. So you know what? This is my Sunday best shirt. So
Alright.
when you go through a haunted house Friday, what's one of the things that you actually look forward to and you've noticed with the sound?
Okay, sound wise, walked through the last haunted house I went through. Up front, they had music playing. I could hear the people talking and the line that went around the block. So that tells you how awesome the place was. I could hear the smells and the clinking of the cooking from the food truck, the music, the people chatting as they went through the line. The one screamer that you could hear from over the bar music 3 blocks away. That lady's awesome. I don't remember hearing the same music throughout the house, the jail. I remember hearing sounds that pertained to the area, like the one lady screaming, or like the dragging of the weapon that one of the hi that one of the creatures the characters had. And excuse me, sir?
Very confused at that one. We go from hello and good vibes to that comment. Let me just be honest. I'm not okay with that. So let's not have that happen again.
They have officially been banned. I was asked a question, I was answering the question. And how often do I actually speak?
This is true. If you watch this show, it's amazing that I got her to talk.
Dude, the sounds the characters made for each of their sections, the intro by the person talking as we were led through, it all pertained to every little area of the jail, and it was amazing how many character areas they got in that small jailhouse.
I will tell you, dealing with different sounds is very important. What's the capability on people's vocals? That is an important thing. You never want a haunt actor to just go out and make the biggest, baddest sound they can, because if you go and give it everything into the first couple groups, you're going to find out that your vocals ain't where you need it to be. And then the sound quality is just going to not be there for the rest of the time. And then you switch over into the next night and you have an entirely different group of problems. And I'll say that because honestly, when it comes down to vocals, it's just like singing. You got to train your voice. You got to do it. I knew a buddy. We call him McLovin. Man, he did a great job on his clown's vocals. But from him not using them, he cannot do it. And it's sad. It really is. But he knows that he's just, yeah. And as time goes on, your voice will change. So the clarity and the quality depends on how much you use your voice. There is actually different sprays you can use. One of the ones that I got turned on to is called Entertainer's Secret. And that's amazing. It's a throat spray. You spray it. And as you spray it, you go ahead and just warm up your vocals talking. And then you can talk a little louder just to get everything going. Next, throughout the night, you're just using your voice. So are you a person that just growls? Are you a person that goes and yells? Are you a victim that screams? These are all things that when you're going through the haunt, you're going through the sounds, and you just got to pay attention, because at no point does any actor or actress want to destroy their voice. That way they can't use it and set it up for the next group. And I'll tell you, it's one of those things that even the character I play has his own rasp voice, but his rasp voice, it'll actually get to me if I go and I start yelling and I've not practiced. Another one of the tricks of the trade when it comes down to haunts and sounds and vocals is hydrate. Hydrate. Make sure you hydrate yourself. Get that voice going. Warm it up. You know, if you got to la 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 la, go ahead and do it that way. But do not ever just go into it without doing anything, because there's a possibility of you actually damaging your vocal cords. And you damage vocal cord, you got a lot bigger problem. So that is what I know about vocals, and this is something that we train ours to really think about, because we don't want to have anybody not be able to use their voice. When you're younger, it's a lot easier to get recovery from it. When you get older, name a single thing that is not harder to recover from when you get older. I mean, at this point, I think I fart and hurt myself. I'm sorry, that just came flying out.
You can turn over in bed and throw out your back at a certain age.
Yeah. But, you know, it's just one of those things that when you're thinking about it, warm yourself up. Make sure you take yourself seriously. You have to. Think about your character. What kind of music does your character want to listen to? What kind of music does your character want to surround itself to? Is it heavy metal? Is it punk rock? I mean, there's not a single haunted house I've not heard a type of music. Over the weekend, I was listening to banjos the entire time. I mean, it was great because I was in a hillbilly scene, but when it's on recording, or when the recording plays over and over and over, and it's only like a 5-second clip, it drives you insane. So just think of those things. And trust me, we're making the show up as we go, because our guest, unfortunately, we don't know what happened, or we just hope that he's okay, and we'll get him on the reschedule. And I told Friday here, maybe we should go ahead and have the reschedule and have his name, and then we'll put part 2. Because, you know,
round 2,
round 2, or take 2. There you go. and see if we can get this giant picture of like one of those movie wheels and snap it.
Yes.
Not a movie wheel. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so some haunts actually have bands come out. And as we're talking about sounds, we got to talk about bands. They actually have bands that come out. I know that Woods of Terror in North Carolina, we were talking about this. They actually have bands that come out, keep the entertainment, keep the vibe going while you're outside the haunts. Bands are very important nowadays. A lot of haunts are picking up and putting bands, bigger haunts. Another one I know about is Haunted Hoochie in Columbus area, Ohio. They have a band. They actually have a lot of different entertainment. And I will tell you that this is like a 18 and over haunt. I'm pretty sure it's an 18 over haunt. But yeah, there's a lot of things to that haunt. They have bands, they have dancers, anything to keep the entertainment going while you wait. And that's one of the key factors. While you're in a line, they don't want to hear everybody get upset that, oh, this line took forever. What they want to hear was it was enjoyable. Then we got to go through, and then we figured out why we came. And that's one of the important things. Queue lines. We went to... Oh, that's a great one. That comment. So Nate, real quick, I'll bring sound back up to this, but while we're figuring out what we're doing tonight and throwing stuff around, Nate was at Haunted Town Hall on Saturday, and I was at Haunted Town Hall Saturday, and I told him, I said, hey man, I got something for you. If you want to use it, you can. If not, whatever. I gave him my paint pail, and we put 4 cans of spaghetti and meatballs in it, and there was people eating out of the community bucket as they were going through. I'm not going to say that I did not partake in the last part of the evening, but I will tell you, when I got home, I kind of got rid of the rest of it because, you know, you can only eat so many spaghetti and meatballs and question whose fingers were in it. But you know what? Maybe that's why I got a little bit of a sinus cold going on. Haunt actors will take it to a new level if they can. That's one of the big things. I will tell you that haunt actors will push an envelope. And they'll keep on pushing it and see what will snap. But I will tell you that, and Nate knows exactly what I'm talking about. The little clip that is in the hillbilly scene at Haunted Town Hall, it's got Low Thunder, it's got this and that, it's this entire thing. It's probably about 5 to 10 seconds, and then it repeats and repeats.
Whole lot of people's hands.
You know what? I could taste every single one. Anyway, so when you go in there in that position and you gotta listen to something over and over and over, it will test you on how you handle repetitive situations. Another part in that building has nothing but heavy metal music, and it just plays heavy metal music, and it's different songs, and there was a lot of songs in there that I enjoyed, and I started taking back and putting them in my regular playlist. So that being said, music is very important. Sounds are very important. Haunted Town Hall and Carnage and many others also use another tactic which helps the whole scenes, and it is smells. And when I say smells, I mean there are so many different smells, from fog machine smells to just like little emitters that are spray canister smells. You can get rotting flesh. You can get mold. Yes, there's a smell of mold. You can get all these different smells, and it plays in your head so much. Now, did you know that smell is one of the most powerful senses that you got? Like, you can smell something, and it can bring you back into you remembering when and where you smelt that. It's amazing.
Yes.
So if you're smelling buttered popcorn scent, you think of a theater or a circus or this or that. You smell toilet water, and it brings you back to probably the high school after you got done running gym. Because, man, bathrooms were rough. So these wonderful scents, these wonderful things that we do in different haunts are wonderful. If you're outside, you don't have to pay for half of the smells. They come free with the ground. In a previous show, we had Mike Ross. We had Mike Ross on, and actually we had him on a couple of times. But we had Mike Ross on the show. And when we had Mike Ross on the show, it was amazing because he uses anything he can to get like a very unsettling feeling. There was a smell of rot coming from whatever roadkill he found and stuck in that grill. And man, that is, I've never came across a haunt that actually uses that. But sometimes things like that make the best props. And yes, I know this might be one of the most disgusting episodes we have. But in the haunted house industry, is it not true that our job is to absolutely make you feel uncomfortable? Saturday, I was introducing people and handing out some sand and this and that, saying that it was cremains. When I did this, I was telling them to take Bobo fishing. Well,
Bobo?
no, it was Bobo. It was Bobo this time.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Bobo the hillbilly passed away. That's what we were telling everybody. So yeah, Bobo the hillbilly passed away, and this was his cabin, and you needed to pay your respects to him. And I would come out and bash a piece of metal, then I would pick up the urn and pass out things. Had this one girl so creeped out by everything that I think she grabbed it, she clenched it in her hands, and she just kept on walking because she didn't want to cry. Which is fun. But this is our style of fun. When it comes down to haunted houses, the industry, it constantly has differences in it. Don't ever go to a haunted house and say, you know what, I seen that exact same thing at this other haunt, because you might have seen almost exactly the same thing. Every haunt will change it unless they buy exactly the same prop. And there is going to be a guest that we have, and I'm not going to tell you who it is or anything like that, that is going to be able to talk about some of this, because they own a company, they own a haunt, they do a lot of things. And if I hear that person's name one more time without him not being on the show, I begged and plead with his wife to get him on the show. But we won't say who it is. But I'm just telling you. What? Boo boo. Okay. But yeah.
bless you too.
Yeah,
May you be very blessed.
yeah.
Something's going on. Anyway, you're also the only person that I can send a picture of my mother-in-law and father-in-law to, and you not get offended that my father-in-law is just the urn.
No, I won't. And in fact, we have this other show on our network, and we talk about everything dead and death. And that's a wonderful thing because it's going to happen. People don't like to be reminded about death, and that's why the haunted house industry is so much of a wonderful thing, that people get the opportunity to be scared by something or come in contact with something that just gets their attention. Well, hi. But yeah, I mean, haunted houses are wonderful. They're stress relievers for a lot of people, not just the haunt actors. They're stress relievers for the ones that go through too. And I want everybody to know that, because when you're going through a haunt, you want to be entertained, you want to have a great time, you want this and that. And that's one of the biggest things when you're dealing with haunted houses and you're dealing with the industry of haunted houses, be it a haunted field that someone's got at their house, or be a haunted castle, be a haunted orchard. Been to one of those before. Haunted hospital.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many different things that people have taken the time to build scenes, and all they want you to do is see their type of art. And if you don't agree that it's art, I will tell you, go look at what your art teacher used to tell you, and I want you to know. But yeah.
Anyways, when it comes to this, I'm trying to figure out how to approach that. But either way, the cool thing is you can have haunted houses that are actually haunted, and they're in hospitals. You can have haunted houses in buildings that you built. You can have your haunted attractions at theme parks. And you can have your haunted attraction in your front yard.
Mm-hmm.
And make it how you and your group of people, or you and your partner, see it.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things is if you get a really old building and you're able to put a haunted house into it, that's amazing. The Reformatory in Ohio, Mansfield, Ohio, it's got Blood Prison that's in it, and there's some residents from the actual building that have not left. And it's great because that gives a lot of people the best of both worlds. But when it comes down to haunted houses, when it comes down to haunted houses, that is just one of the things that you don't always expect, but it's great. My Field of Screams, we don't have anything special about that. Everything's
It is
golden.
very special.
Well, I'm saying, like, we don't have like a actual spirit that walks around and says that they're looking for something and that's why they're still there. If anybody's looking for something, it's probably the possum that eats the Twizzlers.
Anyway, this
I'm enjoying that right there.
because I don't think they know what's actually happening and where we're posting our video at the moment and where it is.
No,
but anyway,
and they call it a career. It's not a career for us. It's purely entertainment because we get to talk about something that a lot of people we absolutely love.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
know that this show is about our careers and how much effort that has been put in it. Your haunt is, you said it was a training haunt where you take young, wonderful kids and you help them learn how haunting works, and they get to grow and develop their own skills as they grow, and they can make characters of their own.
This is true. One of the biggest things in the haunted house industry is you go to a place and you're like, oh, okay, well, I think I want to give this a try. If you're in mid-season, it's kind of hard to do any of the training stuff. But when you go to a place like what we operate, I'm not losing money because I'm not gaining money. Ours is 100%. We donate. I don't see any of the money. And that's one of the things that we want to do is encourage people that might feel like they don't fit in to understand that they fit in. And this is the wonderful thing about us is we take the opportunity to find the kids that don't feel like they fit in, bring them out there and show them, get them out of their shell. There's some of them that absolutely, as soon as it starts, they're out there every single weekend, every single night. And then there are some of them that want to go and start construction and working on stuff. And what is our new area? What are we doing? And I can tell you, the new thing that we want to build this year is going to be something fun, but it's going to be very chaotic for people just to walk in a straight line. And I'm counting on that because that will bring a fun addition to what we have. It's been kind of off with the sunflowers this year because I don't have them in the ground. It's been wet and I can't really tell when it keeps on getting wet like this. But we do have sunflowers from last year that have fallen in the ground, and we're hoping that those sunflowers will pop back up. I mean, I can knife in some sunflowers and see if they want to take off. But that's just the opportunities that we get when we're outside. It was extremely hot, then it's cold, then it's raining. Now we just had severe thunderstorms go through, and I hope that everybody gets the opportunity to just go through one this season and just enjoy it. I know that when I say I'm a training one, my hopes is to keep them as long as they want to be here. But I know that they will grow up and they'll go do stuff. And when they go do stuff, what do? Do you look at them and say, no, I want you to stay here? No, you should encourage them to go other places. And I want somebody to go out and get into one of the bigger haunts. I mean, that's amazing. But you know what? It's what you put into it. And we go down to other haunts, we go up to other places, and we try our acting skills in other places, in other haunts. And that is one of the things that our haunt does. And I've always been excited about that because the kids, they want to go. And when they go in the creeper van and you stop at a gas station, they'll smack the glass and say help. And then I get cops called, and now I have to have papers that says that these children are allowed being with me by their parents. Yeah, the things you learn as being a haunt owner, a haunt actor, whatever. But yeah, I encourage them. And the thing is, I don't like seeing their characters going to other haunts. I like to see them build their skills with the characters that are at that haunt. It is hard to switch yourself from one character to another character, but you will learn so much when you do so. Like, I learned a lot being at the Hillbilly, it's one of those things. So yeah, Friday, what else you got? Because I'll tell you, some comments are very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they know that I am moderating multiple streams at once, but that's beside the point. I would like to know what has been the most interesting sound that you've heard at a haunted house you've been through.
Most interesting sound. All right. So this is something that I have never seen ever again after I seen it. I know this song, and it's called Let Me Ride the Donkey Donkey. And Friday, you know the song because I played that song for you. Let me set this up for you. We went into this area. It was really, really dark. And man, I loved being in that dark room. Then this music started playing. And I'm like, what the heck? And I can't go forwards because there is plexiglass right there. The light turns on the other side of the plexiglass, and this guy rips off his shirt, starts dancing to Let Me Ride That Donkey Donkey. That right there set it up, and I just could not process what I just seen. It wasn't horrifying. It was just a really big guy dancing with a shirt off to Let Me Ride That Donkey Donkey. Oh my. There was a enjoyable aspect of, hey, that was pretty cool, to what in the heck is this? And that dark room with that music set it up for me going, what am I looking at? And as soon as it started playing, you just get the question of what you're getting into, because this is a haunted house. This isn't a striptease act. But kudos to you, sir. If you ever see this, I want you to know right now, you did a fine job, and you set me up for one of my characters at Hell's Dungeon, because
That's what I was thinking.
you ripped off your shirt, I ripped off my pants. And anyone that knows that character, you know what? It was great that Honey Glaze actually was being able to be used correctly.
Yeah. Okay. As a haunt trainer, what has been some of the most hard to get concepts that you've seen for some of the hunters you've trained?
Okay, say that again, because I don't think I quite understood that one.
As a haunt trainer, what concepts that you have been trying to teach has been hard for the trainees to catch on to?
Okay, so this one is one of those that haunts will tell you, don't say boo. Don't say get out. Don't say where are you going. Don't say this and that. That is pretty hard to get out of a lot of people's heads, because naturally when you're going and you're going up to your one friend and he's at the lockers, and you go up and you slam the locker and you go boo. When you come into a haunted house, in anything in the industry, that natural thing is, well, this has worked before. Why can't I make it work now? And that's one of the hardest things to break people. Absolutely break them. If you say something, we've got to correct you. And we've got to correct all the bad habits. I've got a really bad habit. I like hard, heavy items. I do. Those are usually what my character uses. So when I go in a place and it's like, man, I just wish I had something to hit. and it's not a possibility, it's kind of hard. So yeah, it's just one of those things that where do you have the most bang for your buck on stuff? How do you teach these kids? Everybody's going to be different. That's teaching them the basics on what they think is different than what works. That's the hardest thing to break them and teach them. And they will try to imitate everybody that they see. New ones will try to imitate. Imitation is a great thing, except for one thing. If you ain't built like that character, don't try using this, because the big intimidation on a small person is just not there. We have found out that a lot of people don't like things on the ground. They don't like people crawling on the ground. They don't like anything below their knees. That is what bothers people. And if I can teach anybody that, that's a great thing. We have Nibbles the clown. He actually will crawl on all fours, come bolting at you, and then he goes and stands straight up, and he is almost 6 feet tall now. So you have a character that just went as low and then looks at you like high, straight into your eyes. So it's a great thing, but you gotta learn it's not for everybody.
Okay. Where is the easiest place to start off for you when you started trying to make up phrases that would work for Chainer? Where did you start with, and how did you get to where you are now?
When it comes down to my character, the easiest thing was to shut up and let the chainsaw talk. That was the simplest thing. But before I got to that point, I had to learn about the chainsaw. You come out and you're like taking the chainsaw ring, 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 as high as it'll go. You ain't doing nothing to grab their attention. It becomes white noise if it's just that top level. If you go up, down, and pull that trigger and go vroom, vroom, vroom. If you rep it up and then let it calm down, rep it up, calm down. It should only rep up when you're about ready to go for them. You can do it to get their attention. Do it for this and that. Don't hold it there, because you lose their attention. If you go and make it go up, down, then you take that attention span and grab that attention span, bring it back in.
Okay.
After that, dialogue was something else I learned.
Okay. When you go through a haunt, I know as a haunter, it's not as easy to get scared. But have you went through a haunt and saw areas that you're like, ooh, that is such a wonderful idea. I wonder how I can make that into something for our haunt. Or look at that and appreciate it for how inventive it was.
Many times over. Some haunts have many, many, many different things. When you go and you change something in a haunt, you're branching out to people's interests. If you have a favorite haunt, it's because of a character or this and that. You have a favorite haunt. If you have a favorite scene, it pulls you in there and you want to figure out how that whole scene is designed, how the whole scene is operated. And sometimes you get to find out who created it and why. And that's important things that people don't look at, they don't see. When it comes down to haunted houses in this industry, no one will ever have the same show
No.
I don't care what you do, you'll never have the same show. Because if you have the same show, that means that you figured out how to clone people to act exactly like everybody else does in that way. That, or you put a whole bunch of animatronics and they all do the exact same thing. But as soon as one of your animatronics goes down, your show is different than someone else's. It's exactly like the gray blob. Have you ever heard the terminology, the gray blob situation? Gray blob is the gray blob situation is everybody's gray, everybody's a blob. Everybody does the exact same thing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You take a rock and you throw it out the gray blob. Now that one's different because it's got a rock. It's the simplest change. Okay? You take a spoon and you throw it at another one. Now those two are different. They do have one item each, but they're still not the same. Every other blob is the same. That's everything like the haunted house industry. You're never going to have the gray blobs. You're going to have somebody. You got one that has a spoon, one that has a rock, one that has a 2 liter of pop. It's
like in instance, you have the same doghouse as I was just looking at his page earlier. Our wonderful haunter from last episode.
Are we talking about the tech or
Hollow Haunt?
Yeah.
The Hollow Haunts guy. Bill Cox.
Yep.
You had the same doghouse, but your doghouse is set up differently from his doghouse.
Yeah. Just because it got manufactured the exact same place doesn't mean that it's the same. And I will tell you now, you can have all the same props, but if you did not have a blueprint that's just like their blueprint, it's going to be different. That's exactly correct.
So I'm trying to find good questions. I think that the next one that came to mind was what was the hardest thing as a haunter that you've learned?
The hardest thing about being a haunter, and I've got to learn.
That you've learned.
One of the easiest things, or one of the hardest things to comprehend, is that you can't scare everybody.
Yeah.
To a haunter that has a whole bunch of pride in what he does, this or that, it's really hard to look at somebody and go, "Well, you can't scare everybody." That's true, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. That is one of the hardest things to grasp. You can't scare everybody. Doesn't mean that they don't want the same show. That just means that you're just going to have to hit them a little differently, and they might look at you and say, "Well, that was cute." And then you go and you drop your chainsaw and you look at them and say, "Do you think it was adorable too?" And then you get a totally different response than what you were going for, but you got their attention. And that's one of the weirdest things, and I understand. Oh my gosh, that Scooby-Doo one busted me so hard. If no one knows the Scooby-Doo episode situation, it was back when I was running chainsaw for Sydney Haunted Woods in Sydney, Ohio. Back then, they were doing Friday and Saturday, and this girl, she just absolutely was so freaked out about everything. But as soon as I came out, I went full bore onto her, and I stopped, and I start walking up, and I said, Are you having fun? And she goes, Jesus is with me. Jesus is with me. Jesus is with me. And I looked at her straight in the face. I said, well, Jesus is with me too. And she goes, no, no, no. I said, Jesus is with all. And she looked at me and she was locked. I had her full attention. I was able to break her. There was nothing that anyone could do except for one guy that was with her. Pulls out one of those Gideon Bibles, the bright orange ones. We've seen them. If you haven't, boy, the Gideons are slacking. Anyway, pulls it out and goes, have you heard the good word? And instantly, I went to Scooby-Doo 2, the actual action movie, Scooby-Doo 2, where they're in the cage down in the basement. And the Girl Scouts are there. And the one person looks at him and goes, have you heard the good word? My brain instantly went to there. And I said, yeah, there's cookies. I finished that sentence just like that and come to realize that's probably not what I needed to do. But it happened. Am I proud of myself? Yes, because I learned something. I like cookies. Just saying. But yes, when you can break somebody, it's a wonderful thing. Any advice I could give to a haunter? Understand your level of breaking. And why I say that, it's because you can actually break somebody. You don't want to do that. You want them to do what they're going to do and then go home and enjoy. Could I make it better? Absolutely. I could make you pass out, hit the ground, and then me go, okay, well, you passed out. Maybe I should call somebody. That was not my fault. That was exactly, she talked big. If you go to haunted house in the haunted house industry, don't talk big. You make yourself a target. Don't do it. You're taking the fun out of something. Just go and enjoy yourself. Be a wonderful person. Whatever. And I will tell you that. I will tell you that. Go and enjoy yourself. Do not act big. Because when you act big, you put a giant target on your back and everybody just looks at you like, that's the one I want. And you talk big to me, I'm going to do everything I can to you. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pull all that hardware out of your face and tell you how to do it properly. And then tell you that's not how I'm going to do it. Why do I do this? Because I know how that stuff gets installed and taken out. Do I have it? No. Anatomy's awesome.
Yes. Dude, okay. I think since we're nearing end of time, my last question would be, what has been your favorite haunt experience?
My favorite haunt experience.
Yes.
My favorite haunt experience is probably the time that Budsy looked at me and said, you know that haunt's open this weekend. Yep. Are we going? Yep. We're going to have fun, aren't we? Yep. Okay. Because you're stressed out and you need to go. But I want to go too. That right there is when you can celebrate you and your children enjoying the same thing at the same time. Now, I have Poison, and Poison's not big enough to go to other haunts and play her part. She doesn't have the total focus. And that's important when you go to a haunted house, is to have focus. You're focusing, you're staring at people. This is like the ultimate in a cat and mouse game that you can play. And sometimes I will blurt out random things like, and you must be Carmen Sandiego. Guess where I am? Just to get people's attention going, what? And when they question what the heck was just said, that's when you can come out and just go after them so much better. So fabulously. Like what Friday said, we're going to make this a short show. And the reason that we're doing this is our guest is playing Carmen Sandiego. And I can't guess where he is. I really want him to be on the show. Me and him was talking about it. He was super excited. Man, the photos that he has sent us that we could have on the show, but we don't want to show them because we want him. And still to this point, I do not have any messages from him. So I am hoping that he is A-okay. And I mean, looking at the weather that we are going through here in the Ohio area, he might be getting hit with a giant storm right now, and we just ain't seeing it because he is. So I just want to point out, and I'll say this, okay? His haunt is in Canton, Ohio. Okay? Right now, Canton, Ohio has nothing but red and yellows and golds right above them. So there might be a possibility that this is the reason why.
He might not have electricity.
We don't know the reason. He hasn't informed us the reason, but we will have him on the show later on. He can't get away from me because I know where he haunts. And I will make the 2.5 journey to his haunt again. This is a really wonderful haunt. I would like to talk about it, but I don't want to do it without him because I want his inside into it. And I don't want to tell you what haunt it is because I don't want to spoil it. But if you watched the beginning of this episode, you would have been able to see the person and maybe perhaps even track them down because he is one of the OHA award winners, and we hope that he will be able to come on the show, and then we can show all the... How many photos he sends you?
I don't know. Hold on. Let's see. 1, 2, 39?
39. And one of the things was he was supposed to talk to us because his haunt was operating this last weekend. This last weekend, if you haven't guessed, it was Friday the 13th. And let me also point out, there was 4 haunted houses in Ohio that operated on Friday the 13th. Now is the stretch that you really don't have any haunted houses operating until September. September is going to be that golden time. September is going to be that wonderful time that us haunters magically pop up. Almost as much as the Ohio coneflower. I'm just saying. His haunt is a wonderful haunt. I will say that over and over again. I go to many different haunts in the state of Ohio. I've been to haunts out of the state of Ohio. And let me also point this out, okay? For someone that goes to haunted houses, the biggest primary thing that you need to remember in haunted houses is the haunt is amazing. There's a lot of stuff. The great actors have everything, but you're not going to have such a great time if you don't pick the right person. That's an important thing right there. I will preach that over and over again. And the reason I say that is because if you don't have the right person, they're not going to allow you to get the full amount of this. Me and my buddy Nathaniel, he was able to go to Hell's Dungeon. The first time I ever went down to Hell's Dungeon, he went. Question was brought up to me as soon as I got done. So, looking at everything, how long do you think we've been here? And I said, well, this is your second year. Well, looking at everything, how long do you think we've been? What would you say? I said, well, I can't answer that because I know. I said, I know that this is the second year for you, and I want you to understand you're not just talking to a regular person. You're talking to somebody that really understands this stuff. And he looked at me and goes, so you think we've been here? I said, you've been putting in a lot of money. That's my answer. I can't give you a time frame of what I believe. What I can tell you is you put in a lot of time and effort very quickly. And you know what? It's okay. Because everybody wants to know their people's opinions. I ask them all the time, where'd you find out about us? And it's usually, I just stumbled across you. I was Googling. I did this. I did that. Those are all wonderful answers for me. Advertising. Yeah, you can do everything. But if you don't have people that look at you and say, I wonder. And that's the thing. We don't post a lot of pictures about what it looks like at our haunt. We don't do a lot of things. We don't do videos. We like to have the mystery. And if you ask me on the phone, I want to know what your age range is. I will tell you it's mentality. How grown up are you? I could chase down a 65-year-old and it ain't going to hurt my feelings. I can chase down a 5-year-old. Ain't going to hurt my feelings. You went through. You understood. There's rules. You read them. I'm sure. I can't think of a single person that stands there and actually looks at the rules and the warnings on things. Should they? Yeah, probably. Oh, why are you falling on the ground shaking? Oh, you didn't read the part that says we have strobes, right? Now, if you go to mine and you tell them, hey, you know, I've got strobes, or I can't have strobes, we'll figure out a way to get around that for you. But I'm letting you know right now, it's not going to be pleasant if you don't tell me your problem. Are we handicap accessible? Absolutely not. And the reason that we're not is there's a hill. You walk down a hill, you walk up a hill. My hill's not even close to being the haunted cave. I will tell you that. That haunted cave, that is a gnarly hill all the way down and all the way back. I can't find a single person that will talk to me on this show about the haunted cave. And it's just because they do not like podcasts. They don't like this. They don't like that. They like their secrets. So yeah, it's fine. You can love whatever. Friday, or is there anything else? Because like I said, we don't have our guests. We didn't know what to do. We were jawing back and forth trying to figure out what we're doing. And this is what we came up with because we wanted to talk about sound and other things. And Friday gets to pick my brain, and I am so sorry it's not a very fun brain.
No, it is really fun. I've enjoyed your brain over the past year. It has been very interesting. I love I look forward to the next video we get to have of the whole, what was it called? Voicemail video. But on that note, I guess Dante's biggest question recently was, what about your teddy bear?
What about my teddy bear?
He wanted to know if you had a teddy bear, because teddy bear makes him happy.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I do have a teddy bear, and anybody that knows this has known me for a very, 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 very long time. And I could have 20,000 viewers here, or I could have one, and I don't care, because I'm going to tell you, I received a teddy bear when I was born. It came from my mother, and it had a red bow tie right here. Red bow tie disappeared. The stitching started coming apart. So I took green yarn and I tied it and stitched it back up. So it's got green yarn right there. I have not seen him in probably about 7 years. No, I have not seen him in over 7 years. But I can tell you exactly where he is, and I know he's there. And I will not get rid of him, even though I've been threatened that somebody's going to break in and go and steal him. Why do I love him so much? I don't know. But he was there through the big problems, the little problems, my migraines, everything. And he is not a teddy bear. He is a dog. And his name is McGruff. And in fact, he's got a little hole in his tail. Like the top of the tail has a little hole. I remember that. And I can tell you, I remember him so much. And I can go out and I can look at him. But that would be breaking a seal that I have not broken for many years. So we're just going to let him sleep.
That's fine.
That teddy dog is there, and he has got, how they made him was almost like woven carpet with shag, because I know how he is made. He is old, but he's a wonderful dog. I appreciate every bit and piece that dog gave me, because me being a very sick migraine kid, that dog went through a lot of crap with me.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's my answer. Hopefully we can get this rescheduled for James, and we can get a hold of him. When I can't get a hold of my guest, it worries me, because
Yes.
I do care about my guests. It's not, if you ever look at this podcast, you will see right off the bat, it's not a money thing. Never has, never will be for me. It's absolutely fun, entertaining, and sometimes I am sleep deprived the next day. But yeah.
It
So
confused me.
What?
We've had a couple of the people ask, how much does it cost to come on your show? And I'm like, huh? We don't charge anything at all. We just charge time.
Who's asking that?
I've had a couple people on Unprinted Pages asked if I charge for people to come on the show, because apparently some people charge to have to give interviews.
Absolutely not.
I don't do that. I just want to know about you and your books. Are you in your hunting career?
Just depends on what show you want to get on. If you're talking about haunting careers, I want to know as much as you want to tell. And that is one of the best things I will say about this show. We don't charge because we want to hear your stories. And anything with the Owl Light Network, it's a story. And you know what? There might be another show coming down the road that is old stories dealing with the road. Boy, do I got a lot ones there. But we've got enough going on right now, so we're not adding another show. But I do want to say, if you do want to get on this show and you're a haunter, or you know a haunter, or you're a person that works at a haunted house, or you did, I like to know what is the difference between old school haunts and new school haunts. And if you say, well, back in my day, we didn't have these things called fire extinguishers, you're right. And that's the reason that we got laws now. So, but we said that we were going to make this a short one. And I have full intentions of doing that, because I still be pulling off a lot of hours at my actual job. So, Friday,
So
what's
where
our
do you want
next
people to
step
find
here?
you?
You can find me here.
Where do you want people to find you, dude?
You can find me here on the Owl Light Network. You can go and send an email. And magically, the person you're going to be talking to is probably Friday. The email is, what's that wonderful email again?
ChainersHauntedSecrets@gmail.com. That is also the YouTube channel that I am currently on hiatus of switching everything to due to personal issues.
We don't have personal, we have mental.
I have all of the above, but soon part of it will be fixed. But anyway, if you would like to find me, I'm here at the Owl Network. I'm at Fake Horror, where, hey, guess what? Kyle is now one of us at the Fake Horror, and he is a published author. You can find me at my pages, Friday with the Library in the Blue Box, Corpse Garden Chronicles, and my author page is Jennifer Elliott.
Right? And you know what? I haven't done this for a while. We'll see. Is this right? Is this right?
We'll find out. Something's supposed to be happening?
Yeah. The bottom is supposed to be saying Chainers Haunted Secrets at gmail.com.
Oh, I didn't realize it did change. There we go.
Is that right? I hope so, because that's how you get a hold of us. That's how you...
It looks about right.
If it's not spelled right, I blame it on myself. If it is spelled right, I can't blame it on myself. I just have to play with it and say, well, that's different. But
looks great to me.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody. And as we go into the next episode, I got a feeling that I gotta say somebody's name 3 times or 5 times in a mirror. I don't know. If I say his name in a mirror 5 times, it might show up. I don't know. What is it? Beetlejuice? I don't know. We'll find out. But
Beetlejuice. Damn it, he didn't show up.
Yeah. But once again, if you want to be a part of the show, you email us, tell us a little about yourselves, and we'll send you all the wonderful stuff, and we'll figure out how to get you on the schedule at chainershauntedSecrets@gmail.com. Spelled just like that. I hope it's spelled just like that. Anyway, go ahead, and if you want, you can just stop right there. And no apostrophe, no spacing on that, please. And go ahead and do it like this, because absolutely, we would love to have you on the show. Like I said, we had somebody scheduled. They didn't show up, and it's okay, because I'm going to track him down and find out if he's okay. So you guys all have a wonderful one. And Friday, you want to start hitting a whole bunch of buttons on your dashboard there